Raspy Rick.
From a creepy real-life killer clown to a dead person's shadow appearing on a wall, we count 5 disturbing photos that should not exist.
Number 5.
In March 2014, two 22-year-old friends, Sailor Gilliams and Brenda Vega, went hiking together in Santa Barbara, California. The path they had chosen wasn't very well lit, and the two fell many times and injured themselves repeatedly. After hours of cries for help proved unsuccessful, Vega left his friend to go and seek assistance. Along the way, the young man stumbled off a rocky cliff and fell to his death. The next day, another set of hikers were in the area taking photos of their adventure. Unbeknownst to them, Gilliams can be seen in the background of the picture. She has red curly hair, and she appears to be laying face down in the mud, unable to move with a broken arm, 2 broken ankles, and several other compound fractures. She was rescued and recovered, but unfortunately she lost her friend.
Number 4.
In 1980, Robert Landsberg was a 48-year-old American photographer living in Portland, Oregon. One of the subjects of his choice was Mount St. Helens, the massive volcano in Washington state. It was Robert Landsberg's interest in Mount St. Helens that led to his demise, but not before snapping off this incredible shot. On the morning of May 18, 1980, the eruption occurred. Landsberg was just a few miles from the peak. The photographer must have known he wouldn't survive the ash cloud that was quickly heading his way, so he continued taking pictures, and then put his camera in his back pocket and laid his body on it to shield it from harm. Robert's body was found 17 days later buried in ash, with his camera safely tucked away underneath.
Number 3.
The atomic bombing of Hiroshima, Japan is one of history's most notorious incidents. The death toll was somewhere in the range of 90,000 to 166,000 people, with half of those deaths occurring in the first day. When the bombing named Little Boy was detonated, there was an intense bright blast that partially consisted of radiation. A person standing near the wall of a building could have obstructed the light just long enough that no radiation hit the wall behind them. When the obstructed atomic flash hit the walls around where the person was standing, it charred the walls. But in the spot where the person had been standing, there was not the same level of discoloration. What you were left with are permanent shadows, markers that served as a constant memorial of humans who once stood in those spots.
Number 2.
This picture looks like an average picture showing scuba divers swimming in the ocean's depths, exploring nature. Take a closer look. One can see the figure is stationary at the bottom of the sea floor. Still nothing too alarming with no context, but the story behind this one is pretty startling. The photo was taken by Gary Stemper of his wife in the foreground. The other 2 divers pictured are Tina Watson and a rescue diver. Tina and her husband Gabe, an Alabama couple, had chosen Australia for their honeymoon site to do some diving at the Great Barrier Reef, but this was a dive from which Tina would never surface alive. The husband's story is that strong currents pulled her under, and upon swimming to her after his distress signal, Tina knocked his mask loose, and by the time he recovered, she was sinking too quickly. He surfaced for help and also later claimed that an ear issue prevented him from diving deeper to retrieve her, and that he hadn't properly trained for a situation like that. Conflicting statements by Watson led to an investigation, and Queensland's prosecutors suggested that he turned off his wife's air regulator and bear hugged her until she lost consciousness, then turned it back on and resurfaced. The inquest led to a June 2008 indictment in which Watson pleaded not guilty to murder, but guilty to manslaughter with a sentence of 4.5 years to be suspended after 12 months.
Number 1.
Some people are terrified by clowns in general. This wicked image is a true face of evil. That's because Pogo the Clown is a serial killer and rapist John Wayne Gacy. The Killer Clown, as he became known, was responsible for the sexual assault and murder of at least 33 young males over the span of just 6 years. He killed all of his victims inside his home, burying them in the crawl space and other locations throughout his property. When he was arrested in December of 1978, he confessed to 25 or 30 murders. And that's a wrap on that countdown list. See you next time.